way downtown.
This is going to be a tough play. The Cubs win the World Series. Bryant makes the play. It's over. And the Cubs have finally won it all.
Irving and Curry, one-on-one. Irving puts it up. It's good. Kyrie Irving from downtown. It's over. It's over. Cleveland is a city of champions once again. The Cavaliers are NBA champions.
And strike three. Dodgers have won it all in 2020.
Rebound to Sol. Kicks it out to Odom. Odom throws it ahead. The Lakers repeat back-to-back titles. The LA Lakers, the 2010 NBA champions.
Welcome back, folks. It is another edition of Real Sports. And I, of course, am Colin, joined as always by the illustrious Suge Knight. Suge, how you doing, sir?
What's going on? What's going on? How you doing today, sir? A lot of news today. A lot of very crazy stuff came out today. We're going to talk about it right now. Going to get into it. Crazy weekend of football. I texted you and I said overtime again, and the response I got from you was eye rolling and pretty funny gift. But things were different this time, so we're going to get into that. Talk about the games this weekend and all that stuff, and we're going to probably talk a little bit about the Super Bowl. Probably won't get into it too much, but we'll talk about it. Excuse me. But, you know, obviously the Brian Flores stuff is very, very big. And so I wanted to bring in some people to talk about it. Two friends, obviously, of mine, and they're part of your favorite team, the Ravens. Well, one of them is. The other one, he tends to just go for whoever wins. I don't know. That's what he likes to do. It's kind of weird. But these are two great guys. One of the best sports podcasts out there that I love to watch and listen to, and that's the Lunch Break Hot Take. So I want to welcome in Jose and Rodney from the Lunch Break Hot Take. How you guys doing today?
What's up? What's up? Thanks for having us on the show.
Sir, thank
you.
you.
No problem. Always love having you on, Jose. Rodney, I don't know sometimes. The guy
and B's a Panthers fan.
I felt the lack of love in the intro. That's cool.
That's fine. That's fine. Never rooted against the Panthers ever.
We will next year.
Ravens. Without the Ravens.
No. Oh, right. They said they could have. Man, if it would have been an away game, I would be there. That's a 3-hour drive. I'm there.
Yeah.
But thank you for coming on, you guys. Really appreciate it. You guys are obviously two of my favorite people to talk to with sports. We talk constantly about sports with each other. I tend to tag you guys in every little thing that I post on Twitter. We're just talking about the behind the scenes. But let's get into it, man, because this was some big news that came out today. Brian Flores is suing the NFL.
Yes.
Very, very big. And the accusations that he's basing it on are huge, especially when we talk about when it comes to hiring minorities, the Rooney Rule, tampering. There's a lot in there. I think I borrowed this from you guys. I'll say that up front because I don't want to be accused of anything. We did borrow some of the accusations he's making, and I'll bring that up right now. Accusing the Giants of only hiring him to satisfy the Rooney Rule. He knows the interview was a sham because Bill Belichick sent him a text congratulating him on the Giants job 3 days before his interview. Belichick thought it was Brian Dabble. Accuses John Elway of showing up hungover to a 2019 interview with the Broncos.
I totally believe that.
I believe that 100%.
Accusing Stephen Ross of offering to pay $100,000 to Flores for every loss in 2019.
Hold on, let's count that check real quick.
Accused Ross of tampering with a parental QB and inviting him to his private yacht. Accused of Texas discrimination treatment of David Culley. Accuses Cardinals of double standard in firing Stephen Wilkes, I believe.
Wilkes. Yep. Steve Wilkes.
I'm horrible with reading. I apologize, everybody.
Points
out that Jim Caldwell was fired after a winning season and replaced with a white coach. Mm-hmm. Points out that Bieniemy cannot cannot get a head coaching job, and it's all started because Bill Belichick sent a text to Brian Flores thinking he was Brian DeBall. My God, that is crazy. A lot there. B, I'll start with you because we've actually had this conversation together. You and me actually had this conversation about hiring minority coaches and things like that. When you read this, when you saw this, what did you think? What was the first thing that came to your mind?
Well, so with the Giants stuff, right? Hey, we already decided that we're hiring Brian Daboll, and we're just going to go through with these sham interviews. That's not surprising. Every team does that, especially when you're talking about the Rooney Rule. Teams set up these interviews with minority coaches because they have to, and most of the time they're not real interviews. They're just to satisfy the rules so they don't get punished for hiring the guy that they were going to hire to begin with. But there's a process that you have to go through to do that properly, and it obviously the Giants didn't go through that process. But that's not terribly shocking there. That's something that goes on. The thing that was shocking was the Miami allegations of the owner offering him to pay him bonuses for every loss. Essentially paying him to tank, trying to get, I believe it was Joe Burrow in the draft that year. And, the rumor out there is the prominent quarterback they were talking about that he was trying to have him tamper with was Tom Brady. Like he wanted to have Flores try to recruit Tom Brady to Miami and all of this.
On his yacht or something like that, right?
Yeah. So he brought Flores, he invited him to his yacht. And when he got there, he was like, hey, yeah. Tom Brady's going to be here pretty soon, or the prominent quarterback is going to actually be here pretty soon. That's a crazy coincidence. Why don't you go talk to him? And Flores was like, no, and left. Right. And so Stephen Ross at that point allegedly started, bad mouthing Flores around the league, calling him difficult to work with, which is a term that's thrown around about coaches or people of color a lot.
Yeah.
And this kind of, it answers the mystery of the question earlier this offseason of why would you fire Brian Flores? He was doing a great job in Miami with a roster that wasn't very, very good. And this would kind of tell you why.
Yeah. I mean, look, the thing is, it's hard enough for black coaches to get jobs, right? But, what's also not understood is, like when they get these jobs, they are scrutinized more than their white counterparts. So, of course, somebody like Brian Flores, when he gets there, he's trying to win immediately, and they, no matter what a coach, what a owner or GM tells you, hey, we're trying to tank this year because we want to get this quarterback or whatever. Don't worry about it. They always have to worry about it because in Brian Flores' mind, it's hey, okay, I'll follow along. I'll have a bad year. We get Joe Burrow, and then you fire me. Right, because now you got the quarterback that you want, and now you're gonna get the coach that you want to take all the credit, like what happened in Arizona. And he actually referenced that. That's Steve Wilkes. That's what happened in Arizona. Steve Wilkes went in there with Josh Rosen, a terrible quarterback. After 1 year, fired him, and they went and got the coach that they wanted and got the quarterback that they wanted. And
then they had a terrible year, and that coach didn't get fired.
Yeah. Yeah, shout out to Danity in the chat. What's up, Danity?
Yeah, I was just going to put it out. Well, first, I want to bring this up. There's a reason why this, because I want to put Bronny on the left. That's how I feel. Right?
I know, Brandon.
You don't put Bronny in the corner. I put him in the corner. The entity, if he did tank, he would end up like Cooley being fired after his first season. Yeah. And again, we have talked about this numerous times, especially Jose and Bronny, about people of color. I will tell you this. I had seen on Facebook in a sports group chat thing, and they were talking about when he got fired, and they're like, well, he's difficult to work with, which is what Bronny referenced. He's like, that he's difficult to work with. He didn't get along with this, and this. And now you got to kind of look and be like, wait a minute. The owner was lying or spreading rumors. I mean, maybe we don't know if he was difficult to work with, but it looks like he was pretty much lying about it and just, trying to piss on his as I say, not resume, but his
reputation.
Reputation. Thank you.
Yes.
His reputation, and that is really shitty because now when you do that, teams don't want to bring you in to have an interview. Like Bronny said, they're going to bring you in because you're a person of color, so we'll bring you in, but we're not going to hire you because we heard from this owner that you're hard to deal with, and now can you now trust people that talk about these coaches like that? Because now we're seeing, well, they're lying. I'm not difficult to work with. I'm actually pretty, I'll do what I can to make your team a winning team. And now this starts up a whole new conversation and a whole new things, eyes on, we need to possibly change how interviews are done or rules or things like that. Colin, you were sending me messages about this whole thing. What were your thoughts when you saw all this stuff?
The first thing that popped into my mind was, one, finally. Two, that this is what should have been the reaction to the news that came out this year or this season out of Phoenix, and the way that owners talk to players, the way that those players have come out and said they've been treated directly to their faces at a dinner table.
Phoenix Suns.
Yeah, Phoenix Suns. And it just kind of was a story for like 3 days, and now there's probably an internal investigation going on, and then we'll hear whatever the results are afterwards, and hopefully it's a bigger deal. But this is something that is happening in the middle of the process. We are directly in the middle of the hiring process that Brian Flores was up for numerous jobs. And for all of this to happen right now seems that it's one of the betterly done, executed moves for something of this magnitude that I've seen, because usually this just gets moved to the wayside, and now it can't. Now every single hire that is going to come out over the next few weeks is going to have this attached to it. The next few years is going to have this attached to it, depending on how long the litigation goes in court. This is going to keep coming up. Taking this to court and seeing the immediate reactions from not only from the parties that were sued, specifically the NFL's tone-deaf response, the Broncos' tone-deaf response. I understand that the Broncos allegation is specifically different than the other ones. I would separate that one specifically because it is referencing John Elway and him being drunk. It wasn't referencing anything specifically that was racist, or at least the interaction felt in any way. Now, if more comes out,
I think that does correlate a little bit. I mean, to cut you off, but I think he pointed it out to show that Elway understood that the interview was just a sham interview, and he didn't have to take it seriously. So he showed up, and he showed up hungover. So I think that's why he put that in there.
But I think also a lot of people, you can look at John Elway and say that's just the thing that John Elway would do because John Elway's a jerk.
That's definitely where my brain went first. Right, so I was kind of like, was Elway on the slopes the night before? And
so you're right. He might skid on that one. Yeah, you're right.
He could have gone in. It just seems like Elway is.
If he says, "Look, I'm always drunk," people be like,
not a racist, just an asshole. Everybody will believe it.
Yeah,
right?
Could just be an asshole. Which whatever.
Yeah.
But and then you go down the list, and it just keeps on going, and none of it's unbelievable. The Bill Belichick thing might be the most believable thing out of all of it, because that's exactly what an old white man would do. He would get the name. He doesn't have his own alphabetically.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the alphabetically by last names. He's got it by first names. So he goes and it's right there, and he's like, "Oh, Brian," and just clicked it, and it was over. And he was like, "Oh, old man thing to do." But boom, immediately points out the process. It's like you're like an hour 15 into a mystery, and it's like, oh, that's the clue that comes out of nowhere that opens the door to the rest of this Pandora's box. And the talk that I am really not enjoying is, will this cost him an opportunity at getting a job again in the future? Yeah. And if the league does what it should, he's going to be one of the biggest hires as a head coach again in the league when it happens, and it's going to be for the right reasons, and it's going to be with the right team, with the right owner, which is a totally deeper conversation that I would love to have, that I feel like the NFL needs to do what New Zealand did and walk up to people's houses and pay them money for their guns. I want the NFL to walk up to the owners and say, "We will give you value for your team. Give it to us. We're going to go sell it to somebody else." and we need to change the culture of this league. And it is not going to change unless we, the people in charge, do something about it. Because right now it's run by 31 white men and Shad Khan. Like, that's where we're at. And until that changes, it's just extremely hard to rationally say that we're going to see progress, because those guys are the one. They're not going to ever feel comfortable in a room looking across the table from somebody that they cannot empathize or sympathize with, and they just immediately go to a negative reaction to. They can't rationalize trusting their business with anyone of color. Doesn't matter who it is. And it's absolutely ridiculous. And until it changes, and until we see change at the top, I don't know how we can truly see change, because the Rooney Rule is just a rule for coaches. The coaches can be fired. You can't fire an owner.
Well, yeah, and that kind of goes to what I was thinking about when I first heard the story as well. Like, the NFL put out a response saying that the allegations are without merit, and it's just laughable, right? Like, you as a league have already admitted that your owners are racist. That's what the Rooney Rule is about. That's why it exists. And
that's why they amended it recently. That's why they added more to it.
It was to get in front of something like this, right? So you don't get sued for your racist hiring practices. You recognize it and try to do something about it. And the owners in the NFL are so dug in that minority hiring got worse after the Rooney Rule. Right now we're down to one black head coach in the league, a couple of minority, or I think three minority coaches, I believe. I might be forgetting somebody. We got Ron Rivera, Saleh, and Tomlin. I'm not sure if I'm forgetting anybody there, but you look at this hiring cycle. There were 9 openings, and a lot of the top candidates were black. Right, you got Brian Flores, you got Eric Bieniemy, you got Byron Leftwich, you've got Todd Bowles, Raheem Morris, Gerard Mayo, you got Jim Caldwell, and you had 0 black coaches get hired so far.
Josh McCown had a fucking interview. What are we talking about? What in what world are we living in?
Yeah, Eberflus got hired.
Josh McDaniels, who went to the Broncos and was a terrible head coach, who left New England to be an offensive coordinator with the Rams and was a terrible offensive coordinator, who got hired with the Colts and walked out on them before even officially taking that job, just got hired by the Raiders. So it's first, second, third, fourth, fifth chances for white head coaches. And Eric Bieniemy, I mean, I know I can see you on the screen calling the plays, but I'm not sure if you do, so I'm going to stay away from that.
Right. I know you've been to 4 straight AFC Championship games, but can you really?
But can you give me Mike Kafka's number though?
Yes. Right.
Wow.
Or let's call Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah, I mean, this is, and look, I like I said, me and B have had this deep conversation about this, and when you look at it, and B pointed this out to me, and I do have to take what he says. Like, he's right. When it comes to it, there is no actual like, what do we talk about to be a head coach? Like,
no qualifications.
There's no qualifications. Like, and if you say, well, you have to have experience, well, obviously all these coaches have experience. I mean, they have experience playing in the league, or they even have experience coaching. Well, if you want a record, or do you want successful seasons? Rodney kind of pointed out to me one time. He's like, some of these coaches don't have successful seasons, yet they're hired over a black coach, because why? But yet a black coach, like you said, Bieniemy, been to 4 AFC Championship games. I mean, they've literally been, I think KC has been number 1 seed for like the last 5 or 6 years, if I'm not mistaken. And their offense is
1 seed every year, but yeah, they're up there.
Yeah, but pretty close. Yeah. They're always top 3. They're always top 3, but
they have not lost the division since Mahomes took over.
Okay, so and their offense has pretty much been top of the league every year.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're looking at qualifications, like, he qualifies to be a head coach. But like Brian had told, like when I said we had this conversation, he's like, there's actually no qualifications to be a head coach, but yet that's the excuse we always hear. Well, that person really doesn't qualify, or that person doesn't have the resume to be a head coach. Well,
And
then
with-
You
how
guys
do you
know.
make that, how do you make, like, look at Tomlin. Tomlin was a coordinator.
Sure,
He was never a head
you know how he ended up in Pittsburgh.
What's that?
Do you know that story? How Tomlin ended up in Pittsburgh?
Yeah,
He was
I just know he got hired.
he interviewed with Miami.
Stephen Ross.
Yep, he interviewed with Miami, and the president or the GM at the time said he was too hip hop. That's a
Mike Tomlin?
that is
Mike
that's
Tomlin
was
that's
not
that's
hip-hop at all.
Tomlin.
They said
Mike
he was
Tomlin-
too. Well, wait, when this guy's black. I didn't know he was
Mike
black.
Tomlin be running around telling people to pull their pants up, and he was like, "Yo, this
Yeah.
dude's too hip hop for me."
He said he
Did
was
did
too
he
hip
not
hop,
tell?
and that's why they didn't hire him, and he ended up in Pittsburgh. So you can thank Miami for that.
The only thing, well, thank you for almost 18 years of not being under 500, or
Yes.
14 years, something like that. The only hip hop thing I've seen Tomlin do was on I think Chase Claypool's Instagram, where he started dancing, and even then he wasn't even really doing anything crazy. Like, but you know what? This is a conversation we need to have. The NFL needs to have, and like Colin was saying, and me, like, again, I keep going back to this because it was a deep conversation I had with Barty about this. The ownership needs to change. Ownership needs to change in order to get coaches in a better position.
And
But
if
the problem is
what he
the
said
owners
about
are
Stephen Ross is true, the ownership is going to change in Miami.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't be paying your coach to tank games.
But here's the problem with that, though, Jose and Barty, and Colin, if you guys know this. Remember a couple of years ago, Jay-Z was in talks of possibly buying a team, and then that like went away. But if I remember correctly, the owners have to agree to sell to somebody.
Yeah.
Correct?
It's they need 20 votes, I believe. I think it's like 20.
I
20
cannot
votes.
believe I get to do this. I get to quote my favorite show of all time, Entourage, with there is an entire subsection of the 6th season of Entourage where Ari Gold attempts to bring the LA Rams or the St. Louis Rams to LA. And this is before it happens. And he is kind of the front man who's going to be the owner of the team. And he gets like totally shocked at how deep they go into his life. And like Jerry Jones is calling him like 3 times a day, like calling him the wrong name, like really messing with him. And they don't let him in. They're like, dude, you're crazy. Like, they don't do this often. This is a closed club. They like their 32 dudes. They don't even really like that they let Shad Khan in. You can kind of tell.
Yeah.
Like that, like he's very so far off because he's more involved in his other sports, obviously, than he is the Jags. Might get a little more invested if they can get something out of Trevor. But until now, I don't see them. That's what I'm saying. They're going to have to take this shit from them. They are not going to give this shit away. And I don't know where that, like, it would have to be a group, like a real group of real powerful people to come in and be like, no, we're coming in here with this money and you can't say no to it.
Well,
Magic Johnson.
or have the government break it up, take away their status, their antitrust exemption. Right?
Oh, now you're talking. Now this is the podcast.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what though. That I think that's why I think Stephen Ross he might be jettisoned out of here real quick. A la what's his name? The Panthers.
Got to be Jerry Richardson all the time.
Jerry
Okay,
Richardson.
you could go to the
Do you
Clippers
think
owner.
Mike Tomlin would talk?
Because
I think that might
Tomlin,
be.
Tomlin might talk about his experience. Well, look, I don't think Tomlin has anything to really talk about, right? Like I think he's in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh has treated him well, right? They've had a lot of success.
I would say more on that situation specifically.
But I don't think they said it to him. I don't know if they told him like you're too hip hop, but that's what was reported. Somebody heard the owner say it, or the GM, whoever said it, and it got reported as such. But I don't think Tomlin was in the room when they said. I don't think they said it to his face. They rarely say it to our faces. But Stephen Ross, I mean, the part about offering to pay a coach to lose games. We're talking about an era where we just legalized sports betting, right? They don't want to, first of all, that's illegal. right? Second of all, I mean, that's you can't appear to be shaving any kind of points or dropping games or any kind of way. So just the fact that he mentioned it, if there's any truth whatsoever, they don't even want to get to the point where they start uncovering more stuff. So I think they tell Stephen Ross, look, we're gonna pay this man some hush money. We're gonna get you up out of here like immediately. All right, and you're gonna go away very quietly so we don't get called to Congress and being asked about are we tanking games and all this stuff. So I think Ross will be out here quick.
Because you know what they can't defend is that officiating that you see every single week. Because under the wrong light, that looks a whole lot like a rigged league.
Yeah.
I don't think it is.
I will still contest that was not that was taunting. We're not going to go there. It was
not taunting. That was absolutely
nonsense.
That was absolutely nonsense.
Shout out to
walked in a direction.
off the record podcast.
What's up, Mikey?
What's up, man?
He got the shirt.
He's got the shirt.
Yeah. Oh, he's trying to fight tonight, Sean?
Danny Joe pointed out some good stuff. Black coaches has to be perfect. White coaches don't even need experience. I mean,
like
true.
Colin said, Josh McCown I didn't even realize it. He's not even a high school coach. He's a volunteer on that staff.
Yes.
Like when people said it, I was like, oh, he's coaching at high school. Okay, whatever. But he's not even the coach.
This is the part that really pisses me off. And it devalues the work and the experience and the time and commitment that these black coaches have put in, like fucking grinding from team to team, going from being a fucking DB coach on one team to an assistant coach on another team, bouncing around, do whatever the fuck they got to do. I got 6 people's names that I knew, and I don't think the rest of the world knows, but would be quality head coaches. And their names were only thrown in this year to satisfy the fucking Rooney Rule. And it's just going to go away. These guys are going to now be looked at as people that did not get jobs. And that goes on a list. You think those GMs and owners don't have a list of dudes who have interviewed for jobs that didn't get them? And now they can use that to their advantage and say, oh, my friend over there in Chicago brought this guy in. He didn't like him. I don't like him. I'm not going to bring him in. And then that starts to tumble, that those guys keep getting and get stuck in a system where I got a list. Like Mike Caldwell, player, great guy, cannot get a legit interview and probably should. He's been tossed around from the Jets to the Cardinals, Eagles, and then he's been with the Bucs as a linebackers coach. Like, come on. It goes on. Like Fred McNair, Steve McNair, his older brother. Like, where did that name come from? Alcorn State, fucking awesome. But, where does that name come from in NFL head coaching circles?
Well, look, Deuce Staley's still looking, right? He was a hot name for a minute. Then what happened?
Yeah, but I think that's the offensive coordinator job in Philly, and everybody was like, oh.
Right. But I think that's why Brian Flores went scorched earth. I think he realized, okay, I'm not getting this Giants job. And look, there's so much to unpack from this thing. There's something that wasn't on that sheet that was reported, and that was Brian Daboll, who ended up getting the job. He's saying that Daboll had actually texted him and asked him if he could join his staff when he got the Giants job, because he assumed that Flores was getting the job and he didn't want to be in Buffalo anymore. He said, "Can I come be your OC?" That is insane.
I'm sorry. You're telling me that the dude who gets to go to work every day and tell Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs and Dawson Knox and all those boys what to do, wanted to go fix the job. Like, what is wrong with these people? Like,
look.
And this is a part of the conversation too, where it's a little bit uncomfortable, right? Because Brian Daboll has done a fantastic job in Buffalo, amazing job, and he's a very worthy hire as a head coach. But it's just the fact that that he was skipped ahead of other people, right? And now Brian Daboll's going to have to deal with that. I would say Nathaniel Hackett, but he doesn't deserve his job, so whatever. But this is going to affect even the white coaches who get hired, because now everybody, at least for a time, are going to look at them as illegitimate, whether they are experienced and worthy of getting that job or not.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the quote here. It says, ironically, during their January 11th, 2022 text exchange, Mr. McDonald also suggested that if Mr. Flores were hired as Giants head coach, Brian Dable might be interested in leaving Buffalo to serve as his offensive coordinator. Heard Dayball isn't happy with Sean McDermott in Buffalo. Might be able to get out of it if he doesn't get a head job.
Yeah, so not with
Yeah.
Dayball directly, but this was a text exchange with another coach.
Yes, something
Who we're
McDonald.
talking about
McDonald.
Mike McDonald.
Dayball.
That's the Ravens' new DC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey.
No. This is Mike
we-
McDonald. This is somebody else.
No,
McDonald.
a different McDonald. Old McDonald. Possibly?
Yeah. I'll find it. I'll find the tweet I got that from.
Well, first off, we don't talk Ravens here, okay? Let's not start all that.
But you mentioned Mike McDonald. Somebody brought it up earlier. He's getting his he's having his press conference tomorrow to be introduced to the team. Now,
He's like,
there
push
were
that back.
well, people want to ask they want to ask McDonald, they want to ask Harbaugh, hey, in light of what's going on with Brian Flores, did you guys do everything you're supposed to do? Because there was a black coach on the team, our defensive line coach, Anthony Weaver, who was interviewing for the job, and reports came out, I think either around the time he interviewed or just before he interviewed, that Mike McDonald, who was previously on the staff, was offered the job and he was going to take it. So now it's a matter of, hey, did you even give Anthony Weaver a chance? And we spoke about it on our show. If I'm Anthony Weaver, I'm quitting, because I know you didn't tell us beforehand, hey, this isn't a real thing. We're going to go with Mike McDonald. Can you just help us out? You just had him thinking he had a shot at getting this job, and you went and got this guy back from college. I'm not staying. No way.
I'm gone.
Yeah.
And again, just the last thing, I know this is going to irritate Shug, but one more Ravens thing. They don't want to talk about it very much. They're kind of hinting, they said, hey, Greg Roman is, we're planning for him to come back, assuming, otherwise, unless he gets a job somewhere. Cause there's the rumor about him interviewing for the Saints, and maybe Jim Harbaugh brings him along as the OC in Minnesota or something like that. But I mean, I would be asking Baltimore as well, in light of what's going on, why are you keeping Greg Roman employed as your OC, who is obviously preventing qualified black coaches from getting a coordinator job? And, black coaches and coaches of color in general don't get to be offensive coordinators. And that's where a lot of head coaches come from at this point in the NFL. Teams want young offensive minds, and you're sitting here with a offensive coordinator who's been in that position for 9 years with 3 different teams, and has shown repeatedly that he doesn't have any idea how to throw the ball, which is what the league is now, right? But they're sticking with him instead of moving on and going after someone who is more qualified for that position.
Yeah. So the person that was texting with Brian Flores about Brian Dable possibly being interested was Tim McDonald, the Giants co-director of player personnel.
Okay. Danity. That's why the Ravens were included in the lawsuit, because their hiring methods are not looking right in the light.
I said a few weeks ago to my buddy, one of my best friends, Leighton, he diehard Ravens fan as well. It's like, if Brian Flores isn't going to get one of these head coaching positions, we should bring him in for an interview. There's no reason why you shouldn't bring him in for an interview.
Right.
And it felt way more set up to me of if Harbaugh knew he was leaving Michigan.
Yeah.
This felt a bit more like this was discussed at the fucking Thanksgiving dinner table.
That's exactly what happened. Hey, I'm going to be leaving Michigan. Mike's going to be available. You should bring him on. Get Wink up out of there. You kind of wanted Mike to begin with. Go ahead and hire him, because I'm going to be leaving Michigan anyway.
What was it, Thanksgiving? Yeah. How many games have we lost by Thanksgiving?
Right.
And then just the slide continues.
Yeah.
And it was like Christmas. He was like, let's get this fucking guy out of here.
Yeah. It was all orchestrated.
And maybe I'll do that if you take Greg.
Yeah. But if you're going to because look, the Rooney Rule, all it says is whether you've identified the coach that you want or not, you have to go and interview a minority coach before you make the offer to the coach that you want. All you have to do is request to do an interview with whoever. Don't do it with somebody that's on your team, right? Thinking he's going to get the job. Request an interview with one of these minority candidates, right, to satisfy the rule, and then go make the offer. You've already worked it out, right? Like, B's my brother. He's coaching. He's the head coach, and he's saying, hey, Mike wants to come back to you guys and coach with you. Okay, cool. Let me just go through the process, and then we'll hire him. It's simple. You can't even do that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's.
I mean, how about we don't predetermine who our head coach is going to be before any of the interviews start?
How about you actually vet your coaches? That's part of the problem, right? Sometimes nepotism can work in your favor. A lot of times, most of the time, it doesn't. And this is another thing we say on the show a lot too, is that more than half of the league, we're talking about from president, GM, all the way down to the coaches, they are not qualified to do their job.
Hell
just
no.
straight up not qualified. The majority of the people that you see out there don't know what they're doing at all.
I mean, again, at one point a couple years ago in Carolina, they were employing 4 members of the Turner family. It was Norv Turner, Norv Turner's brother, Norv Turner's son, and Norv Turner's nephew.
Hold on. I'm sorry. Is anyone else surprised that the only person here defending the Rooney Rule tonight is Matt Thomas?
Oh my goodness.
Is there anyone else that would have done it?
No, we can't give the I'll say this. I was gonna say no props to the Rooney Rule because it's kind of backfiring, but I wouldn't. It's not backfiring, right? It's just that the racist owners are digging in.
Yeah,
they amended it and they're giving out draft picks and yeah, so we are getting more people of color in front office positions, but they're pushing back even harder on the coaching, and that's why there's just a couple of coaches of color in the league at this point and 0 hired so far.
Has Todd Boyles not gotten an interview? Yeah, and this I don't know how Liffridge is not a coach.
Well,
I mean, first off, he had the most beautiful throw
pushing back a little too much
in the NFL. I liked him. I loved Bobby Liffridge.
So
he was about the Steelers. Oh, I loved him. I was so happy.
Look, so you mentioned Leftwich and Todd Bowles. Those are the 2 coordinators for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And the crazy thing about it is Bruce Arians specifically said, I'm hiring an all-black staff. My coordinators and my special teams coach are all black because when we are successful, teams are going to be forced to take a look at them. They're going to be the top candidates. You're going to have to take a look at them. They won the Super Bowl. They had a lot of success this year, and they're still not getting jobs.
Yeah, and same thing with the enemies.
Yeah. And they had top offense and defense when they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I mean, the previous 2 offensive coordinators for Andy Reid got hired immediately. And then it was Eric Bieniemy's turn, and they're like, oh, well, we got to take a look at this guy.
Yeah, we got to vet him more.
Roger Goodell, there's a fine day coming for you, sir, and it's gonna.
It's not even his fault. That's the crazy thing. Like he works for these owners, right? Like he can only do so much.
He's paid to be a bulletproof.
I do go back to that robot in the South Park episode where it's just him being controlled by the owners, and it's just that to a T. Where this guy will do anything to keep this job. Because I don't know what else he could do.
It's making like $43 million a year.
Yeah.
Shit. Like, that is absolutely.
And right then, Colin was like, "I will do anything to get that
job." Right. All right. So let's. We can come back to this in a little bit. Maybe break it down some more. But championship weekend, I have a lot to say about this weekend because you see Brody smile. That smile that just came over Brody's face because there were some fans, some things going on. But we'll start with the other game first. Okay, we'll go back
because Sugar is mad sensitive. That's all.
I'm very sensitive. But let's talk about that 49ers Rams game.
Yes.
Colin. Let's talk about it, man. You picked the right score for that one. You actually picked the cover, right?
Look, I'm not gonna lie, guys. I had a good week last week. I did all right. Bengals won. I had KC covering and the over hitting. So, life was all right in the house. And it was fun. Come on, y'all. Like, people who come out here this week, I know some people with this. It was rigged. Take it on back to the point made earlier. that gambling's legal now, and we can't be getting up in all that. They don't have time for that stuff in lawsuits. Like they don't have time in court to even think to be doing that stuff anymore. Like it's not even like you can do that. You can rationalize it whenever in your head if you want to, but it's not true.
Right.
What happened was, and here's my slight on why Bieniemy might not be getting a coaching interview coming up soon. That second half was atrocious.
Mm-hmm.
It was similar to a Kyle Shanahan breakdown of an inability to coach an offense with a lead. You don't know how to do it. You don't practice for it, clearly, because it keeps happening over and over and over again. And now this is the biggest moment for this offense all season to shut up the haters which really like the Chiefs fans who were like, everyone wanted us to lose. No one picked us, but everybody picked y'all. Like, what are we talking about? Like, you got Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, and Travis Kelce. What are you talking? And then you loaded up with Melvin Ingram halfway through the season. Like, come on. Like the defense got better. They got more healthy, and they shored up the offensive line. Everything was there for the Chiefs to be successful this season, and they just didn't come through. Didn't come through when it mattered. And Joe Burrow, the hottest quarterback in the league right now, came through to town. And Burr. It's cold night.
We lost it for a second. But we're going to talk about the Rams 49ers, but we'll stick with the Chiefs and Bengals. No, I mean, but I think people need to give credit to the Bengals because they literally – first off, that play before the half where they stopped them from getting the touchdown was huge. Like, all of us really assumed they should have kicked the field goal there, but they didn't. They wanted to go for the throw because they were up so much.
Yeah.
And then they didn't get the touchdown. And then after that, they adjusted and changed their defense where they kept a spy on Mahomes. They only rushed 2 or 3 people. And they clogged up the throwing lanes, and he just couldn't do anything.
Yeah, and I think it went back to earlier in the season when their offense was really struggling, and Mahomes wasn't taking what was there, right? And he always wanted to force something downfield. He want the big play. You want to score quick because that's who they are. That's their identity. And they had gotten out to a big lead early on, and he said, "Hey, you can't stop me. We're going to keep scoring." And they adjusted, and he didn't. But he just kept saying, "You know what? I'm going to force it, and we're going to win because we're the Chiefs and you're the Bengals, and that's how it goes." And then he kept on doing. He kept acting like he's Lamar Jackson back there, spinning around, running back and forth, and like you can't do that. And then he looked to me pretty exhausted by the time overtime came around.
Yeah.
And I mean, he threw 3 awful passes on that drive.
Yeah.
Only the one got intercepted, but he took himself out of that game a bit, I think.
Yeah.
Barty, correct. Well, I'm sorry, Jose, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I want to, Barty, that right before going into overtime, they were literally on the 5, right? They were like on the 5-yard line.
Or right around there, yeah.
Yeah, and he literally put them back so much that they just ended up having to take the field goal. They should have won that game.
They should have.
You're on the 5, and you've been running the ball pretty. I mean, they ran for 130, 39. They were averaging 5 or 6 yards per carry. How do you not score a touchdown and win that game? Now, granted, they still had 1:40. Joe could have done something in that minute. They did have the timeouts, but at the end of the day, you're on the 5-yard line, and you decide to start running around, and you get sacked, and then you
running backwards.
Yeah, and running backwards. Like they fumbled the ball. He almost lost the game there. And now I'm going to stand on my soapbox right here and say this. This is why I say the overtime rule is perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Because what people were crying about, what I'm not going to say crying because I don't want anybody to get mad.
Whoa.
Upset about was they were like, well, it favors the offense. The Bengals in that game had to still deal with Patrick Mahomes, and they in that overtime they literally clamped down harder to stop him. When you are a top defense, you can do that. The Bills, yes, numbers-wise, were number 1 defense, and people say, well, they got tired. You don't think the Bengals were tired when they were up 21-something on them? They were just as exhausted, and they clamped. There was a shot of the Hendricks. Hendricks went off the field when they were on the 5. Went off the field and he's hanging on the cage trying to breathe. You don't think he was exhausted?
Yeah.
This defense turned around and said, "Nope, you are not going to score on us. We got you out of scoring a touchdown. Now you got to kick a field goal." And then in overtime, they played beautiful. Like you said, made them throw 3 bad passes, possibly 3 interceptions. They just intercepted the 1 pass, and then the offense took it over from there. So I don't want to hear about the overtime rule because and that's another not a damn person was complaining about the overtime rule once the Chiefs lost. Now I didn't see. I saw one. I'll take that back. I said a couple people, and I know they are consistent. Colin is consistent on wanting to change the overtime rule. Nobody was complaining the way it was the week before, where people were like, that overtime rule.
Yeah, I mean, I want the overtime rule to change, but not because of what happened in that Chiefs and Bills game. Like, I would like to see it more like college style. But it's not one of those things where it's so egregious. Like that Bills game wasn't like, oh, this is why it needs to change. Like, no, I mean the rules are the rules. You know what the rules are. You're the number 1 defense. Like you can't stop them from scoring a touchdown.
And
people
point out a lot that in the playoffs when you go to overtime, the team who gets the ball the team who wins the toss wins like 10 out of 11 or something like that.
It was 10 out of 1. Yeah, it was 10 to 1.
Yeah. So and I'm like, but in the regular season, that number is down to about 55%. So let's not just look at the postseason where you have the elite quarterbacks playing offense, and yes, they can score. Like that doesn't make it a bad rule, right? I don't care if they change it or not. I mean, if they do, that's fine. If they don't, it's fine. Like you said,
it's not top
play
priority.
Defense, get a stop, and it's not an issue.
Yeah.
And to what I was gonna say. Reef talking about Mahomes going for the home run throw too much. Yeah, I mean he did. And look, that Bengals team. I know I'm a Steeler fan. You're a Ravens fan, Jose. So are you, Colin? I'm actually happy for them. I really am. Like Joe.
They just can't win the Super Bowl, right?
Listen,
they win that game. They just can't win the next one. Joe Burrow did not win a Super Bowl before Lamar Jackson.
I'll be happy for him. Like, look,
I'll be happy for him, but I won't be happy about it.
Listen, it's been 33 years since they've been in a Super Bowl. I don't think they've ever won a Super Bowl, right? Have they ever won a Super Bowl? Like, how long do they have to suffer? Let them live. Let them live. Look, I'll be happy either way. No matter which team wins it, I'll be happy for either side. It is what it is, man. Like the problems that we have in Baltimore. I mean, the Cincinnati losing isn't going to fix it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll be happy whoever wins this week because I like Joe Burrow. I like Jamar Chase and T. Higgins.
Yeah.
They're a fun team to watch. They're a likable team and everything. And if they win, I get to watch Cleveland fans be really upset that the better city won. If they lose,
that's how I have to frame this in my mind.
If they lose, then I get to watch Cleveland melt down about Odell. So it's a win-win for me.
Can we talk about Odell for a minute?
Odell,
wait, Matt, you still in the chat?
We'll talk about Odell. We'll talk about him in a minute. But
I'm messing with you.
Going back to this game, though, I think it was a great game. I loved it. Overtime was awesome. I think you're right. Mahomes was just exhausted. I think also too, I think they just outplayed themselves because realistically, that halftime stop to get a touchdown when they should have taken the field goal, and then not running the ball and not getting in the end zone in the end of the game, really. They're going to look back at that and realize they made 2 big mistakes there. Those were two big mistakes.
This is where I asked the question like Colin brought up earlier. This could be a knock against the enemy for not making the adjustments, and this brings up the question: who's calling what in the in terms of like play calling, right? Like for that halftime that halftime mishap, I put that on Andy Reid, right? Because Andy Reid's gonna have that final say there. Are we going for it here? Or are we gonna kick the field goal? So that's Andy Reid's fault, right? All Airbnb could do at that point is call the play. So that's on Andy Reid. But you're absolutely right. There were no adjustments made, no matter who makes that determination, who's passing, who's running. But what I know is Cincinnati was giving you to run all game. If you're dropping 8 back and you're only rushing 3, you run the ball. you run the ball, especially in overtime, or especially when you're at the 5-yard line, right? Like, did they even run the ball at all? I'm not even sure if they ran the ball one time.
No, I don't
Run the
think so.
ball. Run the ball and score, because they're giving it to you. They're expecting you to air it out, hand the ball to Clyde Edwards-Helaire or Jack McKinnon, and score the touchdown.
Who
Same thing in
were
overtime.
automatic like 4.5 yards. And
Yes.
hold on, let me do that math. Yeah, that's more than 10.
You do what works until they stop it, and then you
They, for
go to
some
something
reason, reverted to the last 5-minute to overtime offense from the Bills game, which they somehow think the Chiefs, or the Bengals, weren't able to watch that, because that's exactly what Mahomes did. The breakdowns were exactly the same, and they were coming after him. They plugged the lanes. Who is it? The number 90, the guy who sacked him, but didn't sack him, but actually was the one that grabbed Mahomes down on the rundown when he was running to the far side of the field after he was running like a madman in the.
I think it was Hendricks.
He's
Trey
just
Hendrickson?
watching him. He's like, I know you're running.
Hendrickson,
Yeah, you're not going to get this. And he travels like an insane distance on the play to get him down. He's like, I knew he was going to do that.
Yeah, I think it came down to pride.
I just don't know why they didn't think the Bengals were going to be able to stop that. I just don't think I don't know if Mahomes didn't respect the defense enough.
I think that is it. I think it was a pride thing. They said, hey, we're Pat Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill. You can't stop us. You're the Bengals defense. You're not that good. So we're going to do what we want when we want to do it. And, you sacked me. Okay, well, now I want to do it even more. Right? Like, I'm not going to turn around and hand the ball off to Clyde Edwards-Helaire, because that's kind of, in some sense, admitting defeat. Like, I can't get it done through the air, so we're gonna run. We're gonna take what you're allowing me to have, and they just didn't want to do it. Right. I didn't have a problem with them going for it at halftime. I was like, hey, if you score here, essentially the game's over, right? You're trying to go for that kill shot. Mm-hmm. I just think it was a poorly executed play. Like, they threw the ball to, it was Tyreek, I believe. But you threw it, going backwards. Yeah, you threw it, and you had him running backwards essentially, and he just didn't. And he couldn't get it done.
To our prior point, if Mahomes rolls out to the right, touchdown.
Yeah, but it was one of those things like, okay, the defense stepped up and made a play there. It's fine, whatever. But yeah, the second half, it was ugly to watch for Kansas City.
It just never felt like Mahomes was going to do something like this. I think that was kind of one of the more shocking things, was that to go back to 2 points, combining them into one, if it was going to be rigged, the guy would have won on the first play 2 weeks in a row. That's where your rigged argument comes in, and you had a bad one. They're like, they wanted them to win. No, you want Patrick Mahomes, the guy that's in every fucking commercial break, to be in your Super Bowl. Like,
you don't get that Bills win and then come back and lose the next week if somebody's writing that story.
Right.
Yeah, no, shut up. Like that doesn't make any sense.
That's a bad story you wrote.
Yeah. Like, that's not even good. Like, I don't even believe that. Like,
it was, like, they fell apart in the second half, and the Bengals, they didn't give up. They fought their way back in, and they got the win. That's football, right? That's what you like to see.
Well, there is someone who is happy that the Rams won. And there are many people in the city of Cleveland that are not those people, because the Rams are going to the Super Bowl. In an unbelievable game. Every single one of these games over the last 2.5 weeks have just been stellar. Like, it just felt like we went to a sports music festival, and I've come out of like each one of the headliners each day, and it's like, oh geez, there's another one of these, and it's like, you got to like go to sleep, get ready, hydrate, and get ready. And it feels like, no, dude, you got 20 minutes, buckle up, get some food, and let's go. And I wasn't ready for the 2 Sundays of football that we really got that were extraordinary.
Yeah.
And it just continued. Each one kept hitting. And the best part about it was that these two teams have everything going against each other. Like it's a conference match. It's an interdivisional matchup in the conference championship game. What more do you want? This smelled like the Steelers and Ravens in the mid 2000s, going at it year after year.
Yeah,
and both teams showed out until Kyle Shanahan again forgets how to coach a football team. Guys, like I don't understand. Like how, I don't get it. And I just listened to a great interview that The Ringer had reposted from the Flying Coach podcast, where Sean McVay actually interviews Kyle Shanahan, and they go into their depths of knowing each other from the Washington staff and all that stuff. And I'm like, well, damn, these guys should be coaches. Like, I'm listening to the way these guys talk about football, and I'm like, shit, I don't even understand I understand what you're saying, but I don't understand what you're saying. And these two guys are whack jobs. Like, they are sickos when it comes to football. And that's what we saw. And defenses are great. Two overpowered defenses. Called the under.
And then we saw
the kicker was I called the Niners covering 3.5.
Well, we saw Jimmy G and Matt Stafford both try to say, no, you have the game. No, you take it. Yes. Kyle Shanahan could have done some things differently, but you have an opportunity to win the game or at least tie it with what it was over a minute left in the game, I believe. And Jimmy G, I want to know, because look, we put out a video and we just basically said, look, Jimmy G is not a good quarterback. And we got a couple of we got a little hate mail from some 49ers fans, saying, hey, we're hating. He's gonna show you. But I want to ask Niners fans, when you had the ball, you had a chance to go just to get into field goal range. Did you feel comfortable with Jimmy G leading that charge? You know what I'm saying? Like,
every single 49ers fans knew that game was over as soon as they got the ball back.
Yes. That interception was no shock to anybody at all. It was just like, well, yeah, all right. Now, to be fair, Matt Stafford almost did the same thing, and that wasn't shocking either.
Right. Yeah, he not almost. He did the same thing. Just Jaworski Tart dropped it.
Yes.
It hit him right in the chest.
Yeah.
Matt is not the guy that you want, in a situation where you need to step up and make a play.
Yeah.
That's not his thing. He's a very talented quarterback, but winning is not his thing. It's like that Reggie Miller documentary, Winning Time. They're not going to make the sequel about Matt Stafford. Okay. So it's just I
don't know, dude. He's kind of in line. If we're gonna give him something, he's in line for the next Kurt Warner movie, which actor is going to play him.
But it's funny because that is exactly the sequel to that movie. Like, that movie had no
American hero.
There was no point in that movie existing, right? Okay, yeah, he wasn't great, and then he got a job and he played well. Okay, he was the quarterback in Detroit and he lost a bunch and then he won. Like,
but he's an anti Kurt Warner, right? Like, number one overall draft pick.
He peaks, and then it's just like the super balance, and then he's just like this really slim peak at the end. It's like a stock that goes really, really low, and then gets bought. Yeah, it's like, he just got bought by Microsoft, and now he's going to go and do great things. And
you got that Kurt Warner movie.
The number one player coming out of high school,
to
be the number one player coming out of college, and then goes to the worst franchise statistically over the time that he was there in NFL history, and now he's doing this. Like, it's absolutely insane.
Doing this. What does doing this mean? He led the league in interceptions.
No, but what's going to get him the movie is the wife part of it. Like, Kelly's amazing story of her coming back, like having to relearn how to walk. Like,
as long as they don't as long as they don't delve into her personality in the movie.
Fellow podcast.
But look, I'm rooting for LA a little bit more than the Bengals, just because the way they put the team together is exactly what I want the Ravens to do, right? Stop trying to build through the draft. You've drafted enough, right? You drafted enough. Develop those guys. You have your star quarterback.
Drafted enough to see you're bad at it.
Well, that too, right? Take your first round picks and say, man, get us somebody that's proven, right? That's all they did. and people are looking at it thinking, "Oh, well, that's going to cost them down the line." When? Like, when is this Rams team going to fall apart? It ain't happening anytime soon. They have enough money, or they can create enough money to bring back the people that they just got in here.
Yeah,
they traded for OBJ in the middle of the season. Like, they can make
after Robert Woods went down. People forget Robert Woods can ball too.
Yeah. Yes.
You know, like,
Hello,
he'll be
Did
back
he
next
not
year.
lead the team in?
Yes, we hear you, sure.
Okay.
You're back.
I was like, dude, I've been trying to figure this out. Sorry about that.
We've been hearing you clicking
ahead.
the whole time.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, then nobody said anything. I was like, can
didn't
anybody
say
hear
anything.
me?
Oh, sorry. I was so looking. At
No, you guys are
little
good.
one.
You guys are good.
Oh,
Hey,
you're right.
hey,
Matt.
hey.
They sign
They
as a free
signed him
agent.
as a free agent.
Oh, it
You
was
guys
so
Because-
long ago now.
Because Cleveland was too stupid to trade him.
Yeah, you should have traded him.
They should have traded him last year.
They should have traded him a
Gotten,
couple
like-
years ago when he said he wanted to be traded. But you know,
I
what it
going
is.
back because you guys lost me for a second. I don't know if you guys saw this, but Patrick Mahomes' mom was saying this is on Facebook. Just because things didn't go our way doesn't mean the game was rigged, people. That's always the excuse these days for everything from political to sports. Again, accept defeat graciously, stop the conspiracy nonsense, and move on. There really is more to life than just football. That was his mom. And I was telling
She's
before
the
you guys,
sanest one in the whole fucking family.
right? Like well, somebody was talking about. We were talking about it with some Chiefs fans today, and I was saying it's not that people hate the Chiefs; it's people hate his brother and his wife. Like they hate him, so that and they hate the Chiefs. Like, you know, it sucks, but when you act the way you do,
they're really unlikable. They're
very
Well,
unlikable.
obnoxious people.
Listen. People hate successful teams, right? Like, you're gonna.
Oh, so I
find
shouldn't hate the
reasons-
Ravens. Then.
You're gonna find reasons. You're gonna find reasons to not like
Well-
a team that
well
you see
played.
constantly winning, right? You. Why do people hate the Patriots so much? Because
They
they're
just
constantly
rolled
winning.
right on by that shit.
I know.
What-
I was like,
wait, what you- I didn't hear
you
what
did
you said.
not respond to that.
I didn't hear what you said.
You said people hate success when they win, and I said so I don't have to hate the Ravens then.
Oh,
hold up.
Look,
I was cracking a beer and you took a shot across the bow.
I always take a shot at the
And it
Ravens
was,
when I
and it
can.
was well aimed and it hit. So, but yeah, no, with the Chiefs though, it's
hey,
like
Ravens aren't getting that much hate right now. When you don't make the playoffs, you don't get talked about.
that's true. But yeah,
That's
I
not
don't think-
true. We've been getting. I've been seeing Ravens getting slammed on Twitter the last.
If
by-
you
that's by
look,
the-
if you
that's by the
look
Ravens
for it,
fans,
you can
bro.
find it. You can always find trolls that talk
Twitter
about
sends me
it.
that shit like they
That's
know.
what-
They're like,
that's
Lamar,
why we came here.
Lamar
There ain't
gets
nobody
hate.
else
Lamar is
talking
very
about it.
successful. Lamar gets a lot of hate.
you
But
know
the
who
Ravens
didn't
as a
get a
team,
lot of shit? You know who? We're the only people that I've heard over the last 3 days give Patrick Mahomes shit for running around like a chicken with his head cut off. But guess who gets shit when he runs around like a chicken with his head cut off every damn day of the week? Lamar Jackson.
Well, but the funny thing is Lamar doesn't even do that. Like
Exactly. And they make it seem like he's like mentally insane back
Like,
there doing crazy shit, but it's all calculated. He's got ways up here, bro. Like, he sees it, he pre-maps it out, and then it's like Sherlock Holmes in the Robert Downey Jr. movies where he like shows you everything he's gonna do before he does it. He
Yeah.
visualizes it all, and he gets out of bounds. That's why he doesn't get hit. Every time he runs, he knows where he's going, so he can slide.
yeah,
It's not like
yeah.
he's just coming up with it on the spot. He's knowing where he's going before he even does it. That's not what Mahomes was doing.
Pat Mahomes
That
said,
was
if I
just
spin
frantic.
one more time, I'll get the angle. Oh,
Yeah.
didn't get it. I'll spin one more time, I'll get the angle. And it's like you're just not that
Difference is
fast, bro.
Mahomes cannot move side to side.
I was like, yeah, you're not that athletic. Stop.
Even Josh Allen's more athletic, I think, than
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes
Oh yeah.
by far.
There's no question about that. Yeah, he's more athletic.
Okay, so I pulled up some statistical evidence as to why this is Kyle Shanahan's fault and less so Jimmy G's fault.
Okay.
Okay. I'm really not here to be the Jimmy G guy, but I
mean,
guess
that,
we're gonna
that
have to
interception at
be
the end.
Jimmy
I'm
G
just
guy.
saying that
Okay.
was
We're gonna start in the wild card. All right, we're gonna work our way for the wild card. Just this playoffs. We're gonna
Okay.
take this sample size of the playoffs. All right. When you ask Jimmy G to only complete 16 passes and not throw a touchdown, and you run the ball 38 times,
Yeah.
you beat the Cowboys 23-17. Okay, we move on to the Packers game. where he's asked to throw the ball 19 times, only completes at 11, and they run it 29 times. Okay.
Mhm.
He still hasn't thrown a touchdown yet in the playoffs to this point. Okay. 2 interceptions, no touchdowns. All right. So, all right.
Damn,
All right.
Brandon,
So
I forgot Kyler was even in the playoffs, Buck.
Right.
Nice.
And then you ask the man in the NFC Championship game to throw the ball 30 times, still only completing at 16, which he did prior when you asked him to throw the ball less.
He said, I met my quota.
Jimmy said no overtime for me.
Jimmy G don't do overtime.
He runs the ball only 20 times for 50 yards.
But okay,
Not working in Debo after Debo, my fucking guy from South Carolina, coming through being a star.
But
what's the difference?
He got hurt though. He got hurt.
But what's the difference between those two games in this last game?
Oh, definitely the quality of the defensive
Aaron
line.
Donald, right? Like you had to run against Aaron Donald and Von Miller, right? Like that makes a major difference in how you're going to call the game.
But I'll tell you what your stats can't account for or don't account for when you're saying it's not Jimmy G's fault, right? They can't account for just the plays that Jimmy G is not capable of making, so you don't attempt.
That's true.
So if Trey Lance is in the game, it's a different. I mean, not to say that they would have won if Trey Lance was in the game, but it's a different. If it's a different offense, he can.
They should at least added him in a few plays. Absolutely, you didn't give yourself a shot, really.
And Bronny, please do not put that juju on us about getting Jimmy G in Pittsburgh.
Jimmy G
don't do that.
Perfect in Pittsburgh.
You take
that
that.
Is the
take it to hell.
thing
Okay?
I've heard.
No, it's not. I don't want to see it.
Should
don't want to see it.
Change my
you
Twitter
want to win
handle
9
to
games next year?
No, I'd rather just tank. Pay Tomlin $100,000 for his first season.
Wow. Part of
you
the
know
problem.
What you should do,
You're sitting here talking about let's pay a black man who's never had a losing season.
Never
out there and
he deserves it.
And then he tells
Say, Tomlin, I'll make it 200,000.
We're gonna give him 18. How much is it? 100? Fuck, I don't know. I can't do math right now. We're gonna give him a lot of money just to tank. Screw it, man. He deserves it.
For 17
Tomlin
games,
deserves to relax.
Games,
and every Steelers fan would be like, "Yo, fire Tomlin."
They say that now.
Fuck with
I know.
They say that now.
That's why I told you.
Rather
Steelers fans are the worst.
Would you let's not get in that conversation.
Jimmy G.
Teddy B.
I take Teddy Bridgewater. I take Bridgewater all day.
As a Ravens fan, you can have them both.
I mean, Steeler fans are going nuts right now because they're like,
I heard you don't have a quarterback,
it's Mason's root.
You might not want to be turning your nose up. Right?
They're like.
That's what I heard. I heard you don't have a quarterback.
There
got a running back.
I got Hundley. What are we talking about?
Exactly.
I can run the offense. What are we talking about here? Like, the defense was the problem in those games. He threw one interception
right up until he had to find an open receiver to win.
And then he threw that that pass he threw in that Rams game. I will never forget. It is etched into my brain of him blatantly just throwing the ball the wrong way to a wide open cornerback.
Yeah.
Hey! Save the Ravens talk for lunch break hot take. All right, this is no.
Everywhere we go,
Saying
it's lunch break hot
take.
Everywhere we go is lunch break hot.
That's
take.
right. That's
damn right. Well, I mean, I'm part of the original crew.
You're part of LBHT crew. So yeah. So here we go. Lunch break hot take show.
So let's just really quickly talk about because we've been going for like an hour and a half. Let's talk about we'll get into a little bit of the Super Bowl and then we'll talk some NBA. Like going into this game, obviously health wise, I know Bengals lost one of their tight ends. Rams. A lot of people are saying like Rams defense is going to dominate. I don't know.
I don't think so.
I think that D-line will. I think that D-line will. I think
Aaron Donald is going to have a fantastic day.
Yes.
But the Rams defense as a whole, I don't know if they're capable of really dominating a team like Cincinnati.
So look, I mean, it will definitely be put to the test, right? You have the best cornerback in the world in Jalen Ramsey against Jamar Chase, who's just a force of nature, right?
It's gonna be awesome.
And our thing is always like a talented wide receiver is always going to beat a talented cornerback, right? More times than not. Now,
Enter Jalen Ramsey, who today
wait.
tried to like
What'd you just-
hijack
what-
the day
Jose?
by saying he got scored on last. Like
Yeah.
he was Tom
Yeah.
Brady's last touchdown.
Jose, what did you say right now? Because I thought you're saying
a talented wide receiver is going to beat a talented corner more times than not.
That's
right?
you're saying? Because I thought you're saying was defund the defense. That's what I thought.
Well,
Well,
yes,
we'll go-
defunded. Well, yes, those go hand in hand, right? Those go
That literally goes hand in hand. Like it doesn't matter how much money you pay a DB,
It doesn't-
you're going to get blown out.
Yes, when you're playing against a talent like that, he can't shut down Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase can have a bad day. He can kind of frustrate him, and he's a rookie. It could happen, but if Jamar Chase wants to go off, he's gonna go off, and there's nothing
wanted that
anybody in the
touchdown.
NFL can do about it.
When he wanted that
He's a
touchdown,
beast.
He's got T. Higgins as well.
but when he wanted that touchdown, he out muscled that corner for that touchdown.
Yeah.
Yes,
He's like,
but
I'm
that's-
taking this ball. You ain't doing nothing about it.
And that's what T. Higgins will be doing to that other corner all day.
Yeah. So
Eric Weddle will have to make a play.
I mean,
Or hit him in the face. Yeah, may hit him in the face after the ball.
what the Rams have going for them are just a lot of talent and a lot of experience, and you have a couple of guys that have been there already, right? Von Miller already has a Super Bowl ring. Aaron Donald's been to the Super Bowl, and he's been saying how hungry he is to get that ring. And it might be one of those things where it's just like, yo, these young boys ain't gonna take it from us, right? But look, the Bengals weren't supposed to make it this far, and they got fight in them. So I mean, you never know.
They got some fight in them, and if Joe Burr goes in there and puts as
good as Jamar Chase has been, he's been. I mean, like I can't describe how great this season has gone for him as a rookie.
Yeah.
Cooper Kupp.
Don't you wish you had him?
Yes, I wish we had T. Higgins. I wish we had T. Higgins. I'll take that. But Cooper Kupp,
look, you're not gonna let two Ravens fans sit here and like honestly tell you we think our team drafts wide receivers well. Like, come on.
Yeah. Nah. But look, Cooper Kupp leads the league in
Elam
yards,
has a brother
receptions. Who?
Did you know that Matt Elam has a brother coming in the draft?
Oh, is that corner his brother?
Who? Which corner?
I forget
Elam,
his first
the
name,
other
but his
Elam
name's
coming in the
out
draft
of
this
Florida.
year. That's his brother. You wanna?
Is he a top prospect? No, I
Yeah.
don't want him. I don't want any. I don't want any DBs. I don't want any defense.
I
in the
remember
first-
that draft
first
so
round.
clearly. Arthur Brown and Matt Elam.
I
They
still
said,
look at it all the
they
time.
said
and look
Ray
at it.
Lewis and Ed Reed Part 2.
That's what I thought. They convinced me. I was just like, oh, we did it again, guys.
And they got him in there. And they said, "Yo, Arthur Brown can't read. Like, I don't understand what's going on."
It's like Matt, you can't cover. Yeah.
I mean, this game is we're going to either see one or two things. We're either going to see another second-year player. I believe Big Ben is the only other one, right, in their second year to win a Super Bowl.
I'm sure there are.
Count.
No,
If you don't count that Mahomes didn't play his rookie year.
Well, yeah.
Well, he didn't play. No, he played in his. Yeah, no, he was the third year. Trust me, I make sure to point that out all the time.
No, he's in the
People be
second
like,
year.
"Oh, Mahomes is better
No,
than."
he was in the
Ben."
second year starting.
Right,
Yeah.
right. He was in his
Oh,
second
yeah,
year.
yeah.
Third
Yeah,
year
his second year
overall.
started. It was his third year. We're either going to see Joe Burrow in the second year quarterback win a Super Bowl with the Bengals, and they get their first Super Bowl ever, or we're going to see Matt Stafford with a Super Bowl after being on the Detroit Lions, and Bronny's going to go throw things.
Look, I don't have anything against Matt Stafford. It's just he's a loser.
Yeah, it's not personal, right? But like,
Oh no, it's
it's
not.
what it is.
No,
Like,
it's not personal.
when we
I
call
know,
him a
I'm not going to
loser,
be
like,
mad
I mean,
if he. I mean, I know it sounds personal calling him a loser, but no.
but you know why though? You know why? Because we tend to flip, like we as fans flip back and forth between wins. Winning isn't a stat, or winning is a stat. Wins matter, wins don't matter. When we talk about Tom Brady being the greatest of all time, then wins absolutely matter because we bring up the Super Bowls, right? But when we talk about Matt Stafford being a career loser, which he is, he has a losing record for his career. That doesn't, wins don't tell the whole story. Nobody tell a big part of the story for quarterbacks. Fair or unfair. That's how we grade quarterbacks.
It's the
Except
most
for when we're talking about Matt
position.
Stafford.
It's the most important and impactful position in the sport, and he played it for Detroit for a very long time and didn't make any impact.
Right. That says a lot.
So,
And he had
I
one of the
will
greatest
say
wide
this.
receivers
I
to
will
ever
say
play
this.
with him.
I got my girlfriend's brother is a diehard Lions fan. these Lions fans have come out for Matt Stafford. So regardless of his play, the impact he made on Detroit is apparent. They love him. He stayed. He never left. He was traded away.
Mm-hmm.
He never left, had plenty of opportunities to walk away to much better teams where he could have been doing this on better teams with better players, and he didn't. He stuck it out through all those bad years and did what he could with what he had. Like, we go back and look, like, it was a lot of what was going on around him, and he made bad decisions more so than not, but it was still the impact he made on that team and that city is showing itself now based on like what I've seen. Because I did not see as many Patriots fans last year busting those Patriots jerseys out when Tom Brady was going to the Super Bowl. So it's a bit opposite of that where it means a bit more.
Well, that's because the Patriots have their own things to celebrate. Like, they have 6 Super Bowls. The Detroit Lions don't have anything to celebrate. It's like when it's like
but they could have been spiteful.
it's when the Cavs
the
Cavs fans were celebrating the Mavericks championship just because LeBron didn't win, because they don't have anything to celebrate of their own in Cleveland, so they have to latch on somewhere else. It's like when Minnesota.
Hold on, wait.
It's like Minnesota celebrating for KG when he won in Boston, right?
Yeah.
Because hey, we love KG, we're glad to see him win, and we don't have anything to celebrate over here. That's kind of Detroit. But I mean, look, I'm not saying that Matt Stafford is not likable or anything like that, or he's a bad guy. It's just that, I mean, they had a few good teams in Detroit, and they just got beat. It is what it is. I mean, this Rams team, like, people give him a lot of credit for what's going on in this Rams team.
Clockwork.
You didn't have a ring at the time.
You did at the time, yeah.
So I don't know. So, I mean, like, okay, cool. You got one, and then you ran off the greatest player.
We don't need it. We don't need to say before. I think it's understood. We're making an example. Listen, he brought up Minnesota too. Don't worry, man. We're not picking on you.
Jesus Christ, man. You know what? Hop in your car and get the hell out of Cleveland once.
He was in LA. Now, he was in LA in December. Okay. But he was there for like a day.
Well, as we
there's other places. I'm just saying.
As we attempt to look at the Super Bowl, because a lot's going to change in the next 13 days before this game.
Yeah.
Injuries are going to come through. We're going to see some guys possibly get some more, solidify that line a little bit. Right now, we're sitting at a 4.5.
I'm sorry. Just hold on 1 second. I'm sorry. Sorry. I just want to say it's pathetic to root for somebody else's championship who has no connection to you, regardless of whether you had a ring or not. That's all. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
You and me against Matt on that one. Rams minus 4.5 right now as it stands. Sounds good to me.
Is the Super Bowl in LA?
Yes.
Yeah, it's in LA. It's down the street from me.
And another thing, why the fuck would they rig it? Bengals fans aren't coming for $4,000 tickets to the Super Bowl. They ain't filling
They ain't no $4,000 or $9,000.
Will this be the first time?
Oh,
will this be the first time if they win it? Would it be the first?
No. That was last year.
Oh yeah.
Huh? No, last year.
Buccaneers last year. Buccaneers.
Yeah.
They'd be the first.
And that's what KC fans are saying. Well, no, that's what KC fans are saying. They're like, the NFL rigged it because they didn't want the Rams to lose against KC. Listen, you got to be kidding me. Well, here, no, Colin. But we let's ask this question. Let's say Mahomes did throw the game. How much do you think money? How much money do you think they had?
Yeah, this was my question. How much money would the NFL have to offer Patrick Mahomes to throw the game for him to even be enticed?
Well, he just got a 10-year, $400 million contract.
Right, so we're already looking at that. You can't offer me less.
It's ownership. After I retire,
it's literally the season finale of Ballers, the series finale of the.
Oh, hey, spoilers, man! I never finished it. All right,
okay. I was like 3 seasons in, and they're like, "We're gonna sign Mahomes to this huge deal," and they do it in the show. It's actually kind of bonkers. They sign him to an extension the year before it actually happens in real life.
Yeah,
and he was like, "Yeah, that was kind of." Some of the things that they incentivized was that he was going to be included in ownership stake. So I was like, well, that sounds pretty good to me.
I said they had to give him billions. I think billions would be the number.
Billions?
Well, yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Like,
because if he gets caught, and someone finds out, like he's done. But
That's it. Yeah.
But I still got a bill.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I still got billions, so I'm good. Like, don't really care anymore. Now I get to go with my brother and my wife, and go dance
We
around.
TikTok stars.
Yeah. I mean, so I don't know. It's just people were coming up with some crazy stuff. I saw. I'm one of the guys on Facebook was like, "Oh, he got a text message at halftime, and then all of a sudden he just started playing bad." Like, no, you don't think the Bengals defense just all of a sudden, or the Bengals defense said, "Hey, we're gonna adjust. We're gonna adjust now."
You don't think a team that was capable of making it to the conference championship had a defensive coordinator that was able to make adjustments at halftime? Wow. Like, you just sound like fucking morons. I'm sorry. There's no
This
other way
happens
to
every
put
year,
it. Like,
man.
if you're out here
When-
saying it's rigged, you're just
Yeah.
mad.
You're
Get
mad.
over it.
That's it.
You'll be back in 2 months. The draft will be coming back
I was
around. You
gonna
got the
make a Ravens
31st
joke,
pick,
but
and
they
you're
didn't get
the-
to the conference championship.
and boom, you'll get some other
Look at
person,
that.
come in, fix all your problems, have some great play.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Whatever. Everybody's over it. It's gonna be great. The Super Bowl, I just be good. I don't want the Rams to blow them out. That's kind of what I'm afraid of.
And Matt's correct here. He said they did the exact same thing when they played the Chiefs in the regular season.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
The Chiefs went up 14 nothing, I believe, in that game. And it kind of looked like, hey, maybe the route is on. And the Bengals fought back and came out on top in that one. And I thought it would be different in the playoffs. The playoffs are different than the regular season. But I mean, they just came out, and Mahomes specifically played horribly in the second half, and they got beat. That's all that happened.
He had 0 QBR in the second half.
How do you get 0 QBR?
I know,
That
like,
is
how is it
crazy.
possible, right?
It was fluctuating at 0.
Even
and I
Big
think
Ben
he might
didn't have
gotten it
that.
up to 12.
Shit. Yeah, you can never say you. I will throw that at Chiefs fans from now on to the day I die. At least my QB didn't have 0 point QBR.
At least my QB's not a rapist. And there you go.
Oh,
That's
here
the
we
conversation,
go.
right?
That's the end of it.
There we go.
I'm trying to save you from having that conversation for the rest
We're
of
just
your life.
we're
That's how that
prepping you,
goes.
Shug. We're prepping you.
Bronny, I hate. This is why I
not-
hate you.
that's not
Okay.
That's not.
So, guys, is there anything that can happen between now and kickoff that would change your pick of wherever it is right now?
Yes. Just as the days go on, I can just easily wake up one day and be like, nah, we'll take the Bengals today. You know what? In fact, right after the game, I picked the Bengals, and today I'm like, yeah, I think the Rams are going to take it. But tomorrow, I can easily say, nah, I can see the Bengals winning it. Both teams have a lot of talent. I can easily be swayed on either side.
Both teams are, I mean, honestly, the Bengals have more of a winning mentality from their players in terms of where they've come from in their careers, in terms of college. T. Higgins, Clemson, obviously LSU, a little bit of Ohio State in there,
Yeah.
Oklahoma,
And
Joe
then
Mixon.
you got the Bulldog Matt Stafford,
And then
who
you
is
got
from the
Exactly.
we can't beat anybody when it matters era of Georgia football.
Exactly. Keep on preaching that. And then you go over to the rest of the team. You're like, oh wow, no, these were a bunch of guys that were
Cooper
turned
Cup
into
from
be amazing
Central
pros.
Michigan.
But the Rams are grinders. The Rams are guys who have been trying to get to this point their entire career and had lofty expectations, and now are trying to get to that point. The Bengals are a streaking star and could die at any time. And I just hope.
I would love to see, and this has nothing to do with Cleveland. I would love to see Odell get this ring, man, because it would be 2 years in a row. Look, Colin, you understand my frustration, man. Like in Baltimore, there's always an excuse why we can't go after a star wide receiver. Oh, this person's got baggage. Oh, this is and that, blah, blah, blah. This would be the second year in a row where a wide receiver with baggage helps his team get to and win a Super Bowl. Right? AB last year, Odell this year. Please make that happen.
No, I don't want it to happen. Don't want to deal with it.
No,
We're done talking about Ravens here. I'm done with it. God damn it. I
No,
bring you guys on and
He
you
said
want
make
the
OBJ
Ravens.
happen. Make
No.
OBJ get a ring happen.
No, we don't want Odell, oh my God, Beckham on your team, okay?
No,
bring him to the
no,
Steelers.
he was
Oh,
saying-
he's
Give Mason-
never coming to Baltimore.
No, he's not coming to
Doug.
Baltimore. He's gonna be up in LA. I'm just
They got
I'm
Yeah,
just-
James
no,
O'Shea,
Chuck,
so-
he was just saying let him get his ring right now with the Rams so we could have
Okay.
two.
As long as he doesn't
Yeah.
come to Baltimore, I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to see Jose happy.
You don't want to deal with it?
You do want to see me happy, Shug.
No,
Man,
I don't want to see Odell. I don't want to
That
see
was
Odell.
hurtful.
If Odell played with a bad quarterback like he was, then it was okay. but with a good quarterback, I don't want to see
Oh,
that.
so you think Lamar's a good quarterback?
I do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I
Shug
just
is
wanted to
not
put that on the
nothing
record. as a
irrational
show for
Steelers
the
fans.
Yeah.
I don't say honestly. I never say bad things about the Ravens. Just people that cover the Ravens. That's all.
Jesus Christ. We are guests.
No, not in this
Matt,
house. You guys are not
handle
guests.
this. This is your channel, Matt. Handle this.
All right, Mr. Colin. Before we get out of here, let's talk
Let's see a
some
press
All-Star.
release about Shug's disciplinary.
Yeah,
action.
let's quickly run through these starters because that was.
Did they name they picked the All-Star team already?
Why is
no reserves? They dropped the
starters.
Rising Stars Challenge, so the rookies and sophomore lineups today, and they'll pick from those pools. Jonathan Kuminga did not get picked for that. It was a bit shocking fact.
Okay.
Why is LeBron James the team when we're in like 9th place?
Because he's LeBron James.
This is the fan vote, so like
And also
I'm
look
not
at
going to
his-
sit here and pretend like Andrew Wiggins deserves to.
No,
be
but it should have been Steph Curry as the team captain,
But he
or it should have
Why?
been
He
CP3
didn't get the most
because they're
votes.
the best.
Chris
They're,
Paul. God,
But it's
we're in
whoever
9th
got the
place.
most
I know,
votes.
Rodney. I know you hate Chris
God
Paul, but
damn,
we're in 9th
dude.
place.
So All-Star voting has nothing to do with where your team's at, right?
Dude,
That's
it's all
your
about
performance.
retweets. The
Yeah,
starters
no.
for retweets, and then the
He could be a
reserves are picked by
starter, but why is it Team LeBron, Team Durant?
I'm about to tell you, Shug.
That's what I
I'm
don't
about
like.
to fucking tell you. It's
Tell
because
me.
he got the most retweets
Well,
on
I don't
the
like it.
All-Star Twitter votes. That's what it is.
You're such an old
Done.
man.
Done. No,
Hold on,
What's up,
but-
Twitter should be
but-
shut down now.
But hold on, Shug. Why do
He's
you
like,
think
join my TikTok.
you think Steph is doing better right now?
They're in.
Have you been watching the last
Second
month of
place.
Warriors
Not
basketball?
they.
No,
Shug, have you watched
Not
the
not the
Warriors basketball
team.
game?
The individual performance. You think Steph is playing
Aside
better
from that
than LeBron
Rockets
right
game
now?
last night, I've watched every game over the last month and a half.
I think he's been playing this year. Yes, and you got to go by the half of the season. He's played better than LeBron. Yes,
Okay, I'll take
I'm
it.
a Lakers fan.
So hold
I'm a
on.
Lakers fan.
I'm looking at Steph is averaging 26 points per game. LeBron's averaging 29 points per game.
Yeah, he put up 40
Yeah.
last night on the Rockets.
Like he's not like LeBron's still the best player in the league.
I'm sitting here as a
I don't
Warriors
think-
fan
I-
saying
look
it
at-
should be Team LeBron.
Steph
last-
is
look
not
at
better
Buck-
than LeBron.
Yes, Booker got robbed, and you can thank
Yeah,
Andrew Wiggins.
yeah,
I think he's playing better than LeBron because you got to look at all aspects of it. But that's a different argument for a different
If
day.
you watch the last,
He's got a
month,
stronger
he has
team
not
around
been
him.
on his shit. Steph has
We've
been making
seen.
some stupid-ass
Listen, we've
mistakes the last
seen
month.
we've seen what Steph can do when shorthanded. Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. Right.
Hey, we've seen what LeBron can do with shorthanded. I mean, he has nothing
Get to
right
the
now.
finals.
Carries
No one
team
in
to
the
the
league
finals.
triple teaming LeBron James. That's like the main difference. No one. Oh, here he is.
Oh God!
Oh,
Do not come in here.
Can we just try to end the show real quick before his
Right
device
before he gets in, before his computer loads up. Okay. Did you want to name the All Stars? Kevin Durant, Giannis, Joel Embiid, Trae Young, DeMar DeRozan. Chicago's been playing really good. I like Chicago. Then you got LeBron James, Jokic, Andrew Wiggins, Andrew Wiggins,
Andrew
Steph Curry.
Wiggins?
Yeah,
Yes, and there's a reason why. I will back up
And-
Shug.
and John Morant.
Morant.
Yeah,
Ja Morant.
John Morant from Memphis.
How are you about to say his name?
Don't ask me to read things, okay? I have a hard time. Anyway,
Okay.
why
John
is
Morant.
Wiggins? Why is
Okay,
Wiggins?
so
a
you guys
touchback?
really want to know why Wiggins is on the team?
Why?
Because he is friends with a K-pop star who has 15 million followers on
Listen,
Twitter,
I
And-
love K-pop fans, man.
and
make
they
it happen.
liked and retweeted all of these Wiggins tweets that this dude put out.
Listen,
K-pop
how can
fans
we?
make it happen?
Let's say, how can we? We gotta make friends with a K-pop star, man.
I
Somebody
love
connected with
K-pop
because
BTS is my
they
shit. I
will
listen
get you
to
wherever
them all
wherever
the
you need to
time.
go. Man, that's a strong community right there. Hey,
It
you know what?
really
Shout out to,
is.
I ain't even mad. Shout out to Andrew Wiggins,
It's
man. You did-
incredible.
yeah. Shout out to you, Wiggins.
He did what he had to do, and
Did what you had
the
to do,
story
yeah.
of his, he was dead ass asleep in bed,
That's some
and his,
basketball
and his
IQ
daughter
right there.
runs in, and she's like, "Daddy, you're an all-star. Daddy, you're an all-star." He's like, "Am I dreaming? Like this isn't real." Like he didn't even think. Maybe
That's
he would have
crazy.
gotten selected as an all-star just because of all the injuries to forwards in the Western Conference. He would have definitely probably been voted an all-star.
You know
by
what
the
though?
coaches.
You know what though? I love that. Right? It's about what the fans want. Sometimes you get those type of players in there, and it's funny. It's lighthearted. You ain't gotta take it all serious and clutch your pearls. Like,
It's
how
just the
can he
image
get
that the
into
dude who
All Star?
did
You
the
gotta take it serious.
graphics-
It's just for fun.
The graphics.
I agree. All Star
starters,
is for fun.
and
Absolutely.
then it's like Andrew Wiggins is standing behind Giannis, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry,
Listen,
LeBron James.
somebody has to get dunked on over there.
And
okay?
guess what? And guess what? Andrew
Somebody's
Wiggins
gotta
is
be
the
black.
only one who cares about being there because it's just old for the rest of them.
I will
Facts.
say this
Shout out to
Andrew
the fans. He says
Wiggins,
hashtag LBHT crew. That's what I'm talking about.
if there was ever like
Love
the
fans.
time for Andrew Wiggins to actually like own up to being a fraud, because I will say in my group chat with my friends for the last year and a half, my name has been in alternating lower and capitals. Andrew Wiggins is a fraud. And that's just been my name. And now I changed it to Andrew Wiggins is an all-star in all caps. It was the best. It was the best feeling in the world. But the dude actually came out and backed up the night after. He had 28 points the night after, 17 in the first half. He was like 6 of 8 from 3. This dude is playing lockdown defense.
Yeah.
And is actually being a legitimate contributor to the team. It just took a extra 6 months that the team didn't think it was going to take for him to figure out his role.
Right.
And now with Clay back, dude, when he can be your second defender, that's going to stop a lot of teams in the Western Conference from being able to really get into their offensive groove. With Clay being able to lock down the one, Andrew being able to lock down whoever your two is.
Then you just got to abuse Steph.
If only Steph could put a hand in a face. Just one hand.
Steph turns around and screams help and runs away.
But then gets the ball right back and shoots it from wherever he called help from, and it goes.
Yeah.
For sure. All right. Well, I mean, we didn't get to talk tennis. I know Rodney's very upset.
Well, no. We can take no. Hold on. Someone wants to talk tennis. I stayed up till 9 a.m. watching this shit, and then went to work like an hour later.
All right, break it
One
down
of
for
the
us.
most unbelievable sporting events I've ever seen in my entire life.
It was like how like Nadal would hit the ball over the net and then the other dude would hit it back, and they just kept doing it until somebody missed.
Whoa. But the resilience to be down to a dude 10 years younger than you and to come back in reverse sweep, being down 2 sets to love and winning 3-2. Like, that is incredible stuff from a guy who hasn't won that major
It's like
2009.
Tom Brady plus LeBron James all in one right there, right?
Exactly, with the comeback. Like, it was both of them, and it was just
It is nothing.
I've been a Nadal guy. Like, I played tennis all my life growing up. And Nadal was always
it is an amazing feat, though, to have that kind of drought and then come back and win it like that. No, for sure.
Because it's only on that specific surface. When you talk about tennis, it gets very technical because he's the king of clay. He's won 11.
I'm about to say, was it on clay?
No.
Was it on clay?
No, it was on a hard surface. So it made it more dramatic that he was playing the best hard surface player in the world, the Medvedev, who had beaten Djokovic at the U.S. Open last year. So there were a bunch of Djokovic people that came out and were like, well, he doesn't count because he didn't beat Djokovic.
He played Joker.
Shut the fuck up. He just beat the guy that beat your boy in the U.S. Open.
That was Joker's fault.
Yeah, it was all his fault.
Okay,
I don't got time to talk about that. I can't stand him even before all this. I can't stand that. I might hate him worse than LeBron and Clemson combined.
LeBron hater over here. God damn. Why did we come on the show?
It's just the
You didn't tell me,
stuff.
Shug.
I love him off the court. He's a great human being. It's just when he steps on the damn court. Let me hate the guy.
Wait. Who's your team?
You not see the flag?
I did not.
Golden State.
My bad.
Yeah,
I was trying to listen to your points.
Come on,
not
man.
Check
It's
out
okay.
the
It's
room.
just been up for the last hour and a half.
That's all right. That's fine.
But he's a South Carolina fan, which is really weird. South Carolina of all teams.
You mean, I fucking live here, Shug. I'm born and raised here, Shug. What the fuck?
I mean, I don't say that about Pittsburgh. I was born in California, so but I love Pittsburgh.
But that's a pro team. That's the college I went to.
You love the team. You don't love the city.
Pittsburgh? I've never been there. I want to go.
Oh my god!
Never been there.
You don't want to go.
I feel you, Shug. I'm from Alaska. We don't have any teams.
Damn.
Right? So I just pick
That's
whoever.
my favorite. That goes back to an NFL countdown story where they went to like a bartender in Alaska and he was like, I got to know every team because everyone comes in here and I got to know something about everybody. And I was like, dude, fuck yeah, I love you. That's the mentality I try to have. He's like, I can have a 5-minute conversation with anybody about any team, and I love it. I was like, are you from Alaska? You sound like that?
So now,
all right, so obviously we're gonna be getting out of here. We stayed a little longer than we
I'm
normally
sorry,
do.
nobody likes SC. Who the fuck is this?
Team Fast and Furious. It says right there.
What?
There you go.
Nobody likes SC. Who is this? Nobody
This
even
is-
knew what Clemson was until like 5 years ago. Guess where that is? South Carolina. Oh,
It's funny. Nobody knew until 5 years ago, and they're going to forget within the next 18
exactly,
months.
because South Carolina is coming back and is going straight to
Coming
the top.
back from where? To where?
Well, we had 5 straight 11-win seasons from 2010.
Oh my God, that's amazing. What did you win?
We beat Alabama. Ever fucking heard of them? I was there.
There. Boom.
So did Utah. Utah beat the brakes off Alabama.
How
How are
many
they
teams
doing?
can you name that have done that? What is this?
A lot.
What did this turn into? Who do you root
A
for?
lot of teams have beaten Alabama.
You're from Alaska. What schools are in Alaska? Who are you rooting for?
Alaska. I don't know. I left it when I was 3 months old.
Who's your team?
In college football, I mean, I don't even watch college football anymore because of
Hey, get the fuck out of here! I watch college football every week.
He's a Miami fan. He's a
no,
Miami
it's because
fan.
of the the slave factor. I'm glad that you enjoy that, but I don't. But with them coming back and paying the players now, yeah, I'm a Hurricanes fan.
Yeah. Look, we watch college football. We don't cover college football because yes, for that element of
South
just
Carolina
not paying
has
players
more
and everything.
wins since Miami's last national title than Miami does. Fun fact.
Yeah, it's because Miami quit paying for their players.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hey, go look at that 2001 Miami team. Good God, that team was.
And there are more players on that team than South Carolina has in their entire existence.
That team was.
I was like,
We just leave him there for a little bit.
let's see. Hayden Hurst didn't Hayden Hurst go? Didn't Hayden Hurst?
Yeah, South Carolina has actually had 10 straight Super Bowls with a player in it. So,
There you go.
Congrats.
anything?
Congrats.
I mean,
Miami had what was the streak for Miami getting players drafted in the first round? Because we're not talking about
South Carolina had that too.
The 53rd man on the roster.
We've had that streak more recently than Miami,
Which streak?
having players drafted in the first round.
No. But the number of years. What was it?
Yeah, it's been like for at least the last 7. Keep on rolling through, man. Keep on rolling.
First round picks for South
I'll
Carolina?
knock them down. You think you walked into some house? You walked into the wrong one.
Oh man.
Don't come at college football fans who do nothing but listen to local sports radio about their fucking team. Don't.
Yeah, so Ronda Rousey won the Royal Rumble. I'm just gonna throw
Oh,
that out
that's
there.
good. Ronda Rousey's the worst.
Oh, you love Ronda Rousey. Stop it,
Ronda
Roddy.
Rousey.
Anyway,
These fans
before
want
we
to
get
talk
out-
about rigged.
before we
It's
get out
not
of here,
rigged either.
It's scripted, not rigged.
yeah, it's not rigged. It's scripted. What? No.
I was
Obviously, Bronny and Jose, thank you very much for coming on. Appreciate
Hey,
you.
thanks for having us on.
Before you get out of here, though, let's plug. Go ahead and plug your guys' show, your amazing show that you guys do on Wednesdays, and the overtime show, which is my favorite show. But we'll get it.
Yes,
down. Go ahead.
that's Suge's second show that he hosts. Yes, every Wednesday, 7:15 p.m. lunch break hot take. Also, you can follow us. You can look at my description there at LBHT Show, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Also, we have a website, lbhtshow.com. We write articles. We post our post our audio podcast on there, and also you can wherever you listen to audio podcasts, you can find us. Just Google Lunch Break Hot Take. We pop right up. And like Suge said, you can find us on our overtime show by going to patreon.com/LBHT Show.
Yes, and where can the people find you? Oh, did you say your Twitter?
Yep. At LBHT Show, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.
Yes, TikTok, where I tagged them in every video that I want to tag them.
Yes, and now Suge has stumbled upon something we're gonna have to cover: professional pillow fighting.
It's amazing.
Thank you, Suge.
It's amazing.
It was
Tag.
intense. It was.
I've been watching Tag. Tag is
No. This
Tag is ridiculous. They
one of the
set
most
up
entertaining things I've
whole
ever seen
like
in my life. It's like
obstacle
American
course
Ninja
and
Warrior
everything.
with 2 ninjas.
It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Professional pillow
Yeah,
fighting.
I'm not playing tag like that. Like my fat ass is gonna die and like have a heart attack. So we're not doing all that. Colin, before we get out of here, there's some plugs you need to plug real quick.
Oh
For some
yeah,
shows?
you can find me tomorrow right back here on this channel as we are covering. Who knows? Will it be an episode of The Mandalorian or an episode of the Book of Boba Fett? We'll find out in about 4 hours. But you can find us here for Saber Reels with myself, Matt Thomas, and Toby Barkwell as we cover all things Star Wars, more specifically the craziness that they got going on over there and all the other great shows we got on this channel. Let's go with Really Scared. Let's go with Spin
South
for the
Carolina
Wheel,
doesn't have any streak. What are you
where
talking
you
about?
can find what?
I'm looking at it right now. They ain't got no goddamn streak. What are you
Go
talking about?
through it.
I'm looking at it. They've had a player drafted in the first round the last 2 years.
And then so skip a year and then keep
That's
going.
not a streak.
And then then look at that one.
Okay.
Semi streaks.
Then before that, they had it for 1 year.
And then I'm talking like when we're talking
You're
like I'm
messing
talking like
up
the year
and
we
then-
turned out Melvin Ingram,
and-
Stephon Gilmore, Jadavian Clowney, all these dudes that were
I'm
running
looking.
defenses from like
I'm going
2010. We were getting
I
dudes
feel
drafted.
I feel you, Colin. Colin, don't let Rodney.
I'm
bully you.
going. I'm
Don't let
going
him
back
bully you.
right now.
Don't do that to our guest.
Finish your
I'm
plug,
at
Colin.
1994. You're not gonna. I'm just gonna keep it going. I'm at like 1994. The longest streak they had was 3 years. If
For
the Baltimore,
for the
if
last
your
2 years, it's
Baltimore
what have
Ravens-
you done for me lately?
If
B?
your Baltimore Ravens had any clue what they were doing, the streak would be a little bit longer because Deebo Samuel would have been picked instead of Hollywood Brown.
Oh,
But
he went to South Carolina.
he sure
Yes.
did.
Oh man, he's so good. He's so good.
But still, it would just be 4 though.
Well, it should be 4. Deebo Samuel absolutely
It
should.
should.
Be the first round pick.
He's, and it's not Devin Duvernay. I don't want to hear it.
And it's not
No, he's
fucking
not Devin
Boykin
Duvernay.
either.
Oh man,
No.
Oh Miles.
All right, Colin.
wanted
we-
to
You just
get
broke.
rid
You
of
just
we-
broke Colin. Colin
we
was trying
really
to
interrupted
plug,
you.
and you just broke him.
My bad.
I was gonna ask, hey, can I come hang out on the show? No, now I'm good.
Yes, you
Of
can.
course you can. Anytime
I'm
you
good.
want, man.
You want somebody that can talk college sports about the games and not what happens after when they get drafted. I guess I'm your guy.
Poor Colin, man. Colin, you excited about Book of Boba Fett tonight?
No,
Not anymore.
not anymore. I just want to go to bed.
Depends. Where did you go to college?
Fucking Clemson, probably at this point. Joe, take us out. I'm done.
All right, we have the real reviews. We have Jackass Forever. Matt will be reviewing that. Make sure to check that out. Coming out tonight, I believe. Tonight, tomorrow.
Tomorrow. At noon.
Okay, tomorrow. Sorry about that. And then Euphoria. I don't know what this show is about, but Matt, Jeff, and Paige Fabretti absolutely love this show, and they watch it. And yeah, check it out. I think it's about like weird things. I don't know. I don't follow the damn thing. But
Like
once
David
again,
from South Carolina. You're welcome for
Who's
some
that?
fantasy championships this year.
Who?
Mike
Oh, Mike Davis.
Mike Davis.
South Carolina.
I know Mike Davis. I don't like Mike Davis.
Should know Marcus Lattimore too, but injuries took him away from us.
Yeah.
J.C. Horn, injury.
Man,
Stephon Gilmore. There's a
screw that
double in. Aren't you a Panthers fan?
I am a Panthers fan.
You
That
got
was
two
that was
fucking
a
Gamecocks
terrible pick.
backfield.
That
Now
was
you
a
have
terrible
just
pick.
cursed yourself.
That was
You
a
just cursed yourself.
terrible pick. Now,
They're gonna have
let me
lockdown
clarify.
corners next year.
I don't think J.C. Horn's a bad player. I think he's a very good player. But
You also got Stephon Gilmore,
But
so you really got to
Justin
watch the way you
Fields-
talk about the game.
Justin Fields and Rashawn Slater were sitting right there.
Oh, and you got and you got Joseph Charlton. Your punter is Gamecock too. So,
Yeah.
might want to do a little
And
nice.
we won 5 games.
And how many since Stephon Gilmore got traded?
What was it, like 0? I think, right?
This is partially your fault, dude. You're the one that riled me up.
Someone broke Colin.
Like, I'm trying to remember. Like, for real, did they win a game after the Stephon Gilmore trade?
I don't think so.
I don't think they did.
I think one. I think they won one.
Damn, Matt Rule.
No, they did. They beat Arizona.
Oh yeah,
right.
they did.
Yeah. Cam beat Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "I'm back," and then never did anything after that.
That's not true. He did a lot after that.
He said, "I'm back." All right, now I'm out.
10 years later.
Everybody out there, though, we need you to pray for Matt Rule to Chicago, or not Chicago, Michigan. That's been the rumor that if Jim leaves, that he wants to go to Michigan. So we need that to happen.
I can approve of that.
There you go.
I will
Colin, where can the people
definitely
find you at?
Right here, saying stupid shit.
Okay.
I said I don't do anything else. I already told you where I was. I told you that they can find me here tomorrow. And I got nothing else.
Oh, that's right. Well, don't you? Yeah, and then you do. Obviously, we do our Tuesday show, Real Sports. Obviously, you can find me at Suge Knight 323 on Twitter and TikTok, and Suge Knight 1323, where I play games and be bad at it at weird times. So you can follow me there. If you're not already following the channel, What Real Entertainment, please follow. We're trying to get to a certain amount of subscribers. Also, make sure to follow our Twitter as we're trying to hit 300 followers. And at this time, I believe we have. Oh, sorry, I got to look at this. We have 175, so we're trying to get to 300 by the least by summertime. So we're 125 away. So please follow. Thank you very much, Brodney and Jose, for coming on and hanging out with us. Talking sports. Always enjoy it. I think this is kind of how Colin feels right now.
Emotional damage.
Why do you have
Think of
that?
the disrespect.
Why do you have that shit?
Oh, I do a show with Matt Thomas. I have to have that ready at all times. I have to do it at all times. All right, let's get out of here. Everyone have a great night. Enjoy yourself.
Peace out.
Curry sets, fires, puts it up.